to be part of a community of scholars and activists who are fighting for the cause of human rights in different ages and different parts of the world. So it's a particular pleasure and honor to be able to contribute to the honoring of Li Chen here. So I will talk in this first lecture about world poverty and human rights. And so I will start you off with a little bit of the background that you need to know in order to understand the problem. On this first slide, and by the way, all these slides you can have if you want them later, so you don't have to take so many notes. If anybody wants these slides, we will make them available to people, okay? So on this first slide, you can see the data about world poverty as they are processed by the World Bank. So the World Bank publishes every year data about how many people in the world are poor, and they express that as a percentage of the population of the developing countries. And if you look at these statistics here, they look pretty good. And in particular, it looks like we are doing better than expected with regard to the first Millennium Development Goal, which you all know is the goal to halve world poverty by the year 2015. So the World Bank measures this in terms of a baseline of 1990, at which time poverty was 41.6% in the world among the people of the developing countries. And so the goal is 20.8% by 2015. And if you look at the 2005 number, we are already pretty close. So officially, it looks like everything is pretty good. I'm sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so my voice is a little bit hoarse. Now let's look a little bit deeper at the problem. A first reality check is a news that hit the wires in June of 2009 of this year, namely the news that for the first time in human history, there are now more than 1 billion people chronically malnourished, more than 1 billion people in the world who each and every day do not have enough to eat. That number has never been so high. It's the first time in human history that it has climbed to that level. And there are two causes. One is the increase in food prices between 2006 and 2008. And the second cause, of course, is the global financial crisis, which reduced the incomes of many families. So we wonder, how can the World Bank have so much good news when really the number of hungry people is increasing? Here you can see some more statistics about global poverty, about the severe deprivations that people suffer. Just so you understand the comparison, there are about 6.8 billion people in the world now. So very large numbers of these people are suffering these severe deprivations. They are chronically undernourished, they lack access to essential medicines, access to drinking water, to adequate shelter, electricity, sanitation, literacy, and so on. So very large numbers of human beings are still exposed to this life-threatening and health-threatening poverty. And indeed, about 1/3 of all human deaths in every time period, every day, every week, every year, about 1/3 are due to poverty-related causes. Half of those are children under the age of 5 dying early because of poverty, and the other half are older people, older children or adults, dying from a variety of pretty trivial diseases that we know how to cure, we know how to treat, but people don't have access to medical services, to medicines, and so on. So 1 death out of every 3 is from poverty. If you put this in perspective and compare it with the great catastrophes of the 20th century, you can see that the world poverty problem is really very large, even compared to the Second World War, which of course was the biggest catastrophe of the 20th century, killing about 60 million people. World poverty in just a few years since the end of the Cold War has killed many more people than the Second World War, about 5 times as many or more.